in their first few training assignments, they made mistakes or errors. I didn't do it for them. I made them, so to speak, or required them to go back and make all the corrections because we learn by doing. So no matter who you're training, if there's errors or mistakes, you need to be patient enough to be like, okay, you missed this, and this. Now go back and do it. And make sure in their training process that they are trained to do it correctly from the beginning. Consistency in my behaviors and patterns is I think the key to success with anything. Getting back to that almost robotic behavior, because every morning I wake up, I do the same thing, and it's this consistency of pattern, I think, that makes all your actions more efficient.
8 years and taking it from a startup, building the foundation, not generating any or much revenue in the first couple of years. Now you have a team. I want to ask you, what were some of the biggest lessons on leadership? And I know you know leadership because you know the best leader in the world, and that's Jesus Christ. What were some of the biggest leadership lessons you've learned just from being a one-woman team when you were starting this up, all the way to today, where I don't know how many people do you have in the team, so maybe you could share that as well. But we want to know leadership lessons from you.
One of my favorite leadership quotes that I say is, leadership is about knowing what to do and when to do it and doing it. So it's about having ability to understand the right things that need to be done, but then having the courage to execute. Especially when you're building something with no money, you're going to have to take some risks. You're going to have to do things that take you out of your comfort zone a little bit, not only by faith, but also on a practical level, whether it's applying a new marketing strategy into your business or incorporating a new revenue generator and learning something you haven't done before. Like, for example, for integrating the whole marketplace into the business. I had no idea how to do that, but you have to be willing to learn and then implement continually, because that's what growth is: transformation, a reinvention constantly, right? And that's what I've learned in terms of leadership, is being willing to learn and apply new things to the company and then teach. The other key thing about leadership in terms of team building is when the time comes to delegate. And because I built it the first 5 years on my own, delegating was new to me. It was something I wasn't necessarily comfortable with because I was so dependent upon my own hands and feet, so to speak, to do everything myself, that God literally had to tell me, you have to share, you have to allocate your workload instead of trying to do it all yourself, because I really did. I had the mindset, oh, if you can't, if you want it done right, you got to do it yourself. But God has really helped me relinquish that, trust Him more, that He will bring the right team members. And God truly has. I have a small team, but we're an effective team, and it's more about quality over quantity. Collectively, I have anywhere between 5 and I would say 5 to 7 or 8 people working around me, all freelancers, whether they are. My core writing team and content output team is 3 people, so 4 including myself. That's not a lot considering how much content we output and manage on a monthly basis. But then there's also my development team for the online, there's tech support, and then there's app development and some of the technology elements necessary. But small team, but definitely qualified team. The point I wanted to make about the delegation and entrusting God when He brings the right team members is that they are self-sufficient. And that's important. Your team should not take from your time. Your team should free up more of your time. So they are all at a point where I can give assignments and then trust that they will execute to the level of excellence necessary and according to how I've built the business. But that was because from the very beginning, you must take the time to train your team. You have to be patient in the training process. I will walk each and every one of my team members, even if I have two accounting girls that handle the billing for the company, which of course I did for myself. But I took the time to train every single one of my team members on every single step necessary in their division, in their department. In their first few training assignments, they made mistakes or errors. I didn't do it for them. I made them, so to speak, or required them to go back and make all the corrections, because we learn by doing. So no matter who you're training, if there's errors or mistakes, you need to be patient enough to be like, okay, you missed this, 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 and this. Now go back and do it. And make sure in their training process that they're trained to do it correctly from the beginning, so that they learn the pattern and behavior required in order to execute it. Again, this is also part of like God teaching us how to automate a business. And it's through consistent behaviors and patterns, almost robotic. It's the same thing, because God created the whole universe with systems and processes. We have the days and nights, we have, sunrise, sunset, we have the seasons. It's all systems and processes, you guys. So he's going to guide you to set up your business and even your personal life, your company, the way you manage your household with systems and processes. So it's the same thing with my delegation and the leadership processes in place. Training, getting the team member plugged into the same processes and behavior or automated behavior patterns. Being willing to not micromanage. I personally don't like to be micromanaged, and I don't think anyone else does. I think you have to have a level of entrustment or trusting your team members so they feel a sense of autonomy as well, so they can take ownership over their division or their responsibilities. And that gives them, your team members, their own sense of accomplishments. And I think that's important for individual personal growth. You want to have that culture in your company, growing personally as well as professionally and materially as well. We're all making money, of course, while we're doing it.
Now I'm wondering, you have 5 to 7 people, freelancers, writers. In my experience, getting writers are one of the most volatile people in terms of character and emotion that we hire in our organization. I'm not sure if that is true with yours, but what I'm interested in is, how do you hire the right people?
So my company team is built up and made up of freelancers. I don't have any employees. They're all freelancers. And this is also one of the tools like Upwork, and there's a lot of free platforms where you can go hire freelancers. The thing is this, Sean, I really operate in a spiritual place where I'm not relying on my own understanding of who to hire. I don't spend a lot of time interviewing. When I have a need, if it's I need a writer, I place an ad, for a writer. I get proposals, and then I truly trust my instinct, because I know God is guiding my instincts. Because you know why? Because I've already secured my spiritual place in God by my prayer time in the morning. I spend 30 minutes to an hour of prayer with God every morning. I unlock every day in prayer. So I know I'm already filled with God's Spirit to where I'm already out of the picture. I've let God come in and take over and guide my steps and order my thoughts even. You've got to ask the Holy Spirit to guide your thoughts. You've got to ask. See, I don't pray for money. I mean, I do pray for total financial freedom, for total creative freedom, but I pray for spiritual gifts. I ask for wisdom, understanding, divine alignment, strategic connections. I pray for the right team members. When you're asking, you must believe that you have received them, because if we ask anything in the name of Jesus, God will give it to us. So this is how my faith is activated too, in the whole process, in all the processes of my business, including hiring. I have just a keen intuition and instinct. Like I can look through the proposals and just kind of know which is the right one I have to, talk to and say, hey, will you help me? And that is only a grace from God. Because if you're second guessing yourself or, kind of double minding, you're going to get confused, and you're definitely not going to execute the right decision because you're not sure of yourself. So there's a certain confidence that comes from your relationship with God and trusting that He's ordering your steps and guiding your decision. because it's not on you anymore. I already know I'm going to make the wrong decisions. That was already proven, like, okay, we accept that fact. Now I'm solely trusting God. In that way, He's working through us, Sean. You know what I mean? Don't put confidence in yourself. Don't rely on yourself. Trust in God. Know that He's making the decision through you. And sometimes you will make your own decisions and you'll see that it's going to fail. I've had things come to me not by God's guidance that I've executed, and I've been literally robbed, like financially. There was this marketing company that came to me. You got to be wary too, because the devil's going to try to bring the wrong opportunities and the wrong people onto your path.
Yeah.
And when you try to pursue those wrong things out of your own wisdom, because like this was a marketing company and it was like, oh, you could, some like too good to be true offer. Usually those too good to be true offers are traps, but I went for it and then sent my money super quick, and then they just like stopped communicating and just completely ignored me. I got robbed. But when God lets something like that happen, then I humble myself again and realize, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Sorry, Lord. I humble myself because I surrendered to God's will, and I consistently ask for His guidance. And I say, Lord, I pray, Lord, use any means necessary to keep me humble and to keep me in your will. Watch out when you say that, because God will really, he'll use any means necessary. Yeah. But it's in this place of humility where God's grace can come and really guide us and lead us and help us. So humility is key.